Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you tune in with me. Today, I'm going to talk about a daily conversation, and the lecture is based on day-to-day conversation. Mean how can we communicate in our daily life, in our daily routine with each other in English language. So viewers, let's start our today lecture, which is actually based on a dialogue, and this dialogue is related with what time is it. So here is a couple uh, and they are actually going to somewhere. Let's try to find out the dialogue between Natasha and Tony. In this dialogue, Natasha actually raised a question and he asked, what time is it? We are going to be late. Tony, it's 7:15. We are on time, don't panic. Natasha, but I thought we had to be at the restaurant by 7:30 for the surprise party. We shall never make it there with all this evening traffic. Tony replied, sure, we will. Rush hour is almost over. Anyway, the party starts at 8. But I do need help with direction. Can you call the restaurant and ask them where we park our car? So this is a dialogue between Natasha and Tony. Actually, Natasha and Tony are going to attend a surprise party. So they are on the road and Natasha is bit panicked and she raised a question with stress that what time is it? Mean she was thinking that that we are late to attend a surprise party, and at that time she said that we have to reach at at the restaurant exact 7:30. But on the other hand, Tony told him that party will start at 8. Mean we have a maximum time to reach to the party, so don't be panic. So here actually Tony said, don't be panic. And he said, but I need help for direction. They actually don't have the exact idea of the direction of the location of the restaurant, and they are also unaware that where would they park their car. So this is a conversation between Natasha and Tony. So let's find out language notes. Let me zoom it so it will be clear to you and you would be able to read it clearly. The first language note is, it's 7:15. This is a way of telling the time. This phrase is one of the most common ways of stating this time. It means it's 15 minutes past 7. Another possibility here is to simply say it's 7:15. Usually we use this type of expression in our day-to-day routine. If someone asks what time is it, so we can say it's 2:15, it's 7:30, it's 9:45. So mostly we in our culture we use this type of expression. In general, we can say it's 1/4 past the hour. How do we know the time of day? Look for context clues, evening traffic. So the speaker didn't say it's 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. He just replied that it's 7:15. So, but the whole conversation actually give a clue, which is evening traffic, means they are going to attend a party at evening. Our next language note is, in the dialogue, Natasha and Tony are going to a surprise party. They need to be on time. Therefore, there is an element of stress and urgency. When someone is stressed for time, you can use expression like, don't worry, don't stress, we are fine. we will be on time. Mean Natasha actually raised the question due to stress and urgency, due to stress. So the Tony actually said, don't be panic. So we can also use other phrases such as don't worry, don't stress, we are fine, we will be there in time. Yeah, we will be on time. So let's find out next language notes. In our next language note, Natasha's think that the surprise party at 7:30. There are two different ways to express this time. You may say simply 7:30 or 7:30. So we can also use this expression that 7:30. This is the other way of expressing the time. Rush hour. Rush hour is the time of day, usually in the morning and evening when traffic is heavy because of people commuting to and from their workplace by bus, by car, or by busway, on foot, etc. I mean, rush hour actually are considered morning, in the morning 7 to 9, and in evening from 5 to 7, because these are the hours of in which offices, schools, and other workplaces are start, and in evening it's their closing time. So basically these are the rush hours, because most of the peoples are travel on roads. So viewers, here is another dialogue which is actually related to a telephone call. When we communicate on telephone, definitely we have a, um, a welcome note and as a farewell notes as well as. So let's start the dialogue here. John and Ellie actually actually talk on the call. John said, "Hey Alec, it's John. How are you?" Alec replied, "Oh, hi John. I was just thinking about you." John, "That's nice. I was wondering if you would like to go to a movie tonight." Alec, "Sure, I would love to. What's planning?" John, "I was thinking about that new comedy Lights Out. What do you think?" Alec, "Sounds great." John, "Okay, I shall pick you up around 7:30. The movie starts at 8. Alec, see you then. Bye." So this is a conversation between John and Alec, and John called to Alec and he was interested to invite Alec on a movie, and he actually used indirect way of questioning, and he actually invited her, and on the other hand Alec agreed with the invitation, and she accepted that, and then he planned to actually go to to see a movie at an exact time, and John actually committed that, okay, I shall pick you around 7:30. So viewers, here are some language notes. Let me zoom in so it would be clear to all of you. The first language note is, "Hey Alec, it's John." Hey and it's actually the two things which we are going to discuss. Both the words are casual and friendly way of saying hello on the phone. Although it's mean it is used to mean I am here. I mean, you can say that uh, it is actually introduced John. So instead of saying I'm John, John said it is John. "Oh, hi John." Notice the rising intonation here. Alec is excited to hear from John and is very pleased that he called her. Me, Alec is so excited, and her excitement show by his intonation pattern. "Oh, hi John," mean the intonation pattern is rise here. "I was wondering if you would like to." This is a polite and indirect way of asking, do you want to? Do you want to go with me? Do you want to go with me on a dinner, to watch a movie? So there would be multiple options. John is nervous and doesn't want to appear too direct or bold. Notice how the question goes up at the end, which shows that he is not overly confident. John was not so much confident at that moment either. It might be possible John actually doesn't want to say directly to the Alec that would you go with me on a movie. So this is somehow a polite and indirect way of asking a question on telephone. Other language note is, sure, I would love to. Alec replied, yes, I would love to go to with you to watch a movie. Means, yes, I would love to. Notice that Alec is very enthusiastic and friendly. She wants John to feel comfortable about asking her out on a date. They are going to a date, and actually Alec is trying to be accommodate John. Next language notice, I was thinking about. What do you think? Again, John doesn't want to appear too bold. He wants to give Alec a chance to suggest a movie. Here is a little bit reluctant, and he actually was saying that that Alec should choose it. Alec might be say yes or not. It's her choice. Sounds great is an informal way of saying that's a good plan. Instead of saying that's a good plan, you can say that sounds great, that's good, that's fantastic. So you can use such phrases. I shall pick you up is an informal way of saying I shall come to your house so that we can go together. So instead of saying a long sentence in informal way, the John said, I shall pick you up. Viewers, let's move towards our next dialogue, which is also related to the telephone. When we are talking with other person on a telephone and the other person is unable to hear you, unable to listen you exactly, so how can you explain yourself, or how can you show that your sound is not good and I am not audible to you, or you are not audible to me? So let's start our next dialogue. Can you say that again? Here is a dialogue between Luke and Stephen. Luke, hello. Hey Stephen, how are you things at the office? Stephen, hey Luke, how are you? Can you please stop and pick up extra paper for the computer printer? Luke, what did you say? Can you repeat that please? Did you say to pick up ink for the printer? Sorry, the phone is cutting out. Stephen, can you hear me now? No, I need more computer paper. Listen, I shall text you exactly what I need. Thanks. Luke, talk to you later. Luke, thanks, Stephen. Sorry, my phone has really bad reception here. So this is a conversation between Luke and Stephen. Luke actually called to Stephen because he was needed for the computer papers for printing. But on the other hand, Luke is somewhere in a position that his phone is not receiving clearly, or we can say the reception of the telephone was not good at that place. So Stephen was unable to understand what actually Luke is saying to him. Here are some language notes. In our language notes, we can see that there are a few ways of to express a lack of understanding and to request additional information. The most common one are stated, but you can also say, excuse me, or simply, I can't hear you, or you are not audible. So there are multiple things. In a more formal situation, if you are communicating in a formal situation, mean your boss is talking to you, your boss is on telephone, then you can also say I'm sorry, or I beg your pardon. So pardon is also the exact meaning as sorry, with a rising intonation, because in our conversation our intonation pattern means a lot. In our next language note, when asking someone to clarify information, tries saying, can you please repeat that? Can you spell that for me? Can you please write down the address for me? Can you repeat me? I am exactly unable to understand you, so please uh, repeat it again. Or you can say, can you spell that for me? With spelling you might be possible that you understand what the other person is saying to you. So these are some expressions which are used when you are unable to understand the expression or the conversation of the other person. Cutting out. Describe a difficulty in understanding a clear due to poor cell phone reception. If you are having trouble understanding the caller, you can also say, the line is breaking up, I am losing you. If you are unable to understand, so you can say that there is a distortion in the line, here is a noise, so I am unable to understand. Or you can say this line is breaking up, so I am losing you, the same expression, I am unable to understand you what you want to say to me. If the phone call is disconnected because of poor reception, you can say the call dropped. When my friend was talking to me, the call dropped. Talk to you later is the equivalent in a phone conversation of see you later in a regular face-to-face conversation. As we say see you later when we are talking to someone in a face-to-face setting, and so in on telephone we use talk to you later, I will talk to you later on call. Yeah, I will call you later. Reception here means the availability of cellular service, the availability of the cell phone service, the possibility to receive and give call on a cell phone. Cell phone reception can be limited in remote areas, means in villages, inside large building. If you are in a shopping mall or in your huge building, then it would be possible that you would never receive full connection, your full service of your mobile phone company, or underground. Here is the example, sub busway. There are some places at that you are unable to receive the full signal of your mobile phone company. So these are the causes. Actually we use the reception of signals. So viewers, this is all about from today. Hopefully you will learn day-to-day communication through this lecture. Please practice it and use these phrases in your day-to-day conversation, in your daily life. Thank you so much being with me. I will see you later. Allah Hafiz.